He was one of the nation's leading rebounders as a player 20 years ago, and now his son is one of the brightest prospects in the nation 20 years later. Sam Clancy, the son, has signed at Southern Cal. But wait, as they say in the business, there's more. Steve Logan, the point guard for St. Ed's, is the best non-committed point guard perhaps in the nation. He can break down a defense, he can score from the outside, he knows when to pass, he knows when to shoot, and whatever college needs a point guard, they would be wise to get Steve Lepore. Now, there is yet another Division I prospect playing for the Eagles of St. Edwards. He is Steve Lepore. I'm talking about Steve Logan, the point guard, but Steve Lepore, 6'5", plays a wing, can play underneath. He has committed to Northwestern. He'll be playing basketball in the Big Ten, a great student, a great basketball player, and really what high school sports are all about. So you've got 3 Division I players, not to mention a couple of young people who can really get the job done for St. Ed's.
And Steve Lepore, of course, was an honorable mention All-American preseason for the Eagles. Let's take a look at Benedictine now under head coach Frank Novak, the defending Division II state champs, and he said that perhaps winning the state championship gave this year's team a sense of false security. They've overcome that now. They're playing very good basketball, and they have some very talented individuals.
Yes, Matt, and that is in contrast to St. Edwards, who feel as though they have not accomplished anything. They're number 10 in the nation, Benedictine, the defending state champion. They are led by a 4-year varsity player, 6'7" Albert Wilson, who can play facing the basket as well as he can play with his back to the basket. Being recruited by Cal State Fullerton, being recruited by Ohio, by Toledo, by just about every Division I program in the nation. Albert Wilson may be the trump card for Frank Novak because he will be able to step out on the floor and perhaps pull Sam Clancy away from the goal. But as they say, there is also more. In addition to Albert Wilson, there is Chris Lianza. He could very well end up playing, by the time he's done, Division I basketball. Only a junior. He's the point guard who can score as well as handle the ball. Chris Lianza, higher than a 4-point academic average, attracting the attention of Duke as a junior. And yet, not only for Wilson and Lianza, but the most recruited player on the Benedictine team is Jermaine Crosby. He's a junior who can play anywhere on the floor that he wants. Coach Frank Novak says he gets more mail every day than I do. He hears from 15 colleges a day, and he'll certainly be a name we'll be hearing a lot as time goes on.
Yeah, I think the letter carriers know their way to the Crosby household by now. Well, joining Bill and I for tonight's call of this fantastic basketball game, another very special guest from the WNBA Cleveland Rockers, it's Michelle Edwards. Michelle, being here at this game tonight, does it bring back some fond memories of your days in high school?
Definitely. I think tonight we're going to see some great basketball. I'm just looking forward to seeing a great game and possibly even picking up some moves.
You know, you're probably good enough that when you were in high school, you probably should have been playing with the boys' teams.
Possibly, yeah. I was pretty good in my day, yeah.
All right, come on back and join Michelle, Bill, and I for the call of tonight's game. It's Benedictine and St. Edward right here on WVIZ. Back to Benedictine High School, the Truman Memorial Fieldhouse. I'm Matt Underwood, along with Bill Needle and Michelle Edwards, our special guest tonight from the Cleveland Rockers of the WNBA. Do not adjust your television set. The lights are still coming up here in the house. They turned them out completely for the introduction of the starting lineups of the hometown Benedictine Bengals. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for tonight's ball game. Here are the Eagles. Steve Lepore and Pete Latkovic join Steve Logan in the backcourt. Jaquan Miles and Sam Clancy are the forwards. For Benedictine, one change in the starting lineup. Jason Kaiser is in the starting lineup because of a matchup that Frank Novak would like to take advantage of. Michael Woods, Chris Lianza, Jermaine Crosby, and Albert Wilson round out the starting 5. Normally, Bill Needle, it would not be Kaiser in the starting lineup, but Dave Novak, but he feels this gives him a better matchup on the floor.
Agreed, Matt, and when you go back to our conversation with Frank Novak, a couple of gambles he's got to make tonight. Take a look at a man-to-man defense in which Chris Lianza, Benedictine's top scorer, plays man-to-man on Steve Logan. The gamble, you've got your best scorer playing their point guard. Will it affect Lianza defensively? Will it affect Lianza in terms of fouls? Michelle, what would you rather guard? You take a look at Logan. Would you rather guard a stocky, strong point guard or a little quick, fast one?
Stocky and strong.
Why?
Well, basically, I would just have to contain rather than chasing.
All right, here are the Eagles, and a quick look to Lepore from Logan. Lepore is hammered as he goes to the hoop, and he will go to the free throw line. So the Eagles taking advantage of the over-aggressive Benedictine defense, going with the backdoor cut right off the bat.
Good look there. Official Bob Morris has worked more than his share, more than an average share of state championship games in Columbus, joined by Greg DePompe. And if the name Paul Spicuzza rings a bell, it is because he is the trainer of the American League pennant-winning Cleveland Indians, finding something to do in his winter months before he heads to Winter Haven.
All right, Steve Lepore knocks them both down, and it's quickly 2-0 in favor of St. Edward. And on the counterattack come the Benedictine Bengals. Chris Lianza guarded by Logan.
This St. Edwards team plays a tremendous national schedule and has held some national powers to an average of 53 points a game. Take a look at the defense bump from Lepore.
Lianza fouled on his way to shooting. It is not a shooting foul. 1-1, or rather it will be taken out of bounds. Lepore unable to get the feet set.
Michelle, how much beating do you take physically in a basketball game?
Extremely physical and a lot of beating.
All right, once again, Chris Lianza, the point guard, running the show for Benedictine. Trying to look inside to big Albert Wilson.
Now they're showing 1-3-1. They're trying to mix a little defense on him. 1-3-1 trap in the corner.
Wilson inside, and there's the big shot there by Jason Kaiser. Getting the start and paying dividends immediately.
Kaiser's presence inside is going to make it tough if they're going to move Albert Wilson outside.
Clancy goes inside, and he draws a foul.
Terrific mobility from Sam Clancy. His agility, you might expect genetic. He's already committed to Southern Cal. Take a look at the body control, moving the ball in the air. How hard is it to learn to shoot to move the ball when you're moving the ball in the air, Michelle, trying to go up and under arms and around arms? There's a real art to that, isn't there?
Yeah, it's pretty hard, but practice kind of makes perfect.
Well, 3 fouls, and we're only less than a minute into the game. That can't make either coach happy. Sam Clancy splits the pair, and it's 3-2 in favor of St. Edward.
That's Steve Logan and Chris Lianza, two of the best point guards in Northeastern Ohio, if not the state.
Here is Albert Wilson, who can handle the ball for a big man, but misfires on the shot. Clancy has a rebound, outlets to Logan, and here come the Eagles. Logan doing it so well, breaking down the defense, and he draws the foul.
Once again, you see the jump stop. If we get a look at that, Michelle, it seems as though the jump stop coming up right here is becoming everybody's game, has the jump stop, the 2-foot jump stop. Is it something that's come along? Did you always have it in your game?
Not always. In the beginning, no, but slowly but surely I picked up on it, and it's been my forte ever since.
All right, St. Edward with a 3-2 lead. Benedictine already with 3 team fouls. And the Eagles look inside. Jaquan Miles dishes back out to Latkovic. He lets a floater run in the lane and hits it.
Pete Latkovic only averages 7 points a game, but he can score if necessary. You're always looking for the third man in the mix. Who's it going to be tonight?
Lianza for Benedictine. Takes advantage of a screen, drives inside, lays it up and in, and he gets himself to the free throw line for an extra shot.
This is a major league handle. A crossover on the move from Chris Lianza. Tell us about it, Michelle.
That was a great crossover, great hesitation, great finish as well.
And finishing with the inside arm can help you draw the foul. A lot of coaches would teach you to use your left hand, but to finish with the inside arm, you get a chance for a little body contact. Instead of 2, there's a shot at 3 here.
That's right.
Lianza puts it up and rips the cords. The 3-point play ties the game at 5. Just underway first quarter. There's Frank Novak, the defending Division II state champion Benedictine Bengals. And right now his team on defense. Latkovic gives it right back to Logan. Logan launches. Loose ball. And a foul going to be called on Latkovic.
Great hustle by Pete Latkovic, perhaps a bit ill-advised. When he left his feet to dive for the loose ball, he ended up undercutting the legs of the Benedictine guard. Foul trouble could very well be something that St. Ed's has to keep an eye on.
Not as deep as they were a year ago, but Eric Flannery believes this is a better team, perhaps, than last year's Final Four squad.
Substitute 25 in the green is Chris Barilli into the ball game.
Michael Woods had trouble with it, gave it over to Lianza, and he finds himself almost a double team, but he dribbles out of it, and then a turnover goes to St. Edward.
It happened almost too quick for the eye to see, but a crossover between the legs in traffic, a la Tim Hardaway, out of the repertoire of Chris Lianza.
Eagles on the attack. Miles goes over to Pete Latkovic, who is at the point.
Backside screens trying to free up jump shooters. Back out front, they'll run it again. For as great a talented team as St. Edwards is, they're very patient on offense. They only average 69 points a game, and they could score a lot more if they wanted.
Really a half-court team are the Eagles. Latkovic lets it fly and airmails one. Here come the Bengals in a tie game.
There you see the ability to step out on the floor from Albert Wilson, but when you've got a player playing out on the floor who doesn't always play out on the floor, sometimes his feet move before the ball does.
Michelle, when you're matched up against a team that is a quality opponent, both of these teams obviously have a lot of respect for the other one. Does it take a couple of minutes into the game to get those nerves down to where you're back to playing basketball?
Definitely. Anxiety somewhat takes over in the beginning, but once you run up and down the court a couple of times, you just settle into your regular style of play.
Probably feel like you could shoot the ball through the backboard in the early part of a ball game.
Yes. Only takes you a couple times up and down the floor and you're ready to go?
Well, it depends.
Is it something that got a smaller and smaller amount of time the more you played ball when you were younger? Did it take longer, and now that you're pro, did it?
I'll tell you, it depends on the game and the opponent. Definitely.
Frank Novak himself, an outstanding player here at Benedictine, both head coaches, graduates of their respective schools.
And right now it's the St. Edward Eagles with the ball. They swing it around. Logan inside the Miles. Tried to go to Clancy, but it's picked off, and here come the Bengals. Michael Woods will pull it out. Again, both teams very patient. Neither one of these teams what you would call run and gun.
And coaches like unselfishness, but there was an opportunity for Jaquan Miles to shoot the ball. His unselfishness resulted in a turnover. Look at Wilson at 6'7", running from the head of the key. Out on the floor, it draws Clancy away. You can see the matchup.
The Bengals set up an offensive play here. Crosby looked inside, but it was not there. Picks up his dribble, goes back to Wilson. The big man can handle it, and he knocks it down.
Good mobility to be able to create his own shot. Albert Wilson shows you why he's a Division I prospect from coast to coast.
Highly touted play, and here's a foul. Looks like away from the ball, and this is going to be on Albert Wilson, who was hand-checking Sam Clancy a bit too aggressively. And that's 2 on Wilson. And that's going to get Wilson a seat on the bench, and checking back in for Benedictine is Jason Kaiser.
Jaquan Miles has a seat on Eric Flannery's bench. And into the game, Mike Newman, who is the youngest player who sees most of the minutes. He is a sophomore.
Here is Clancy with the ball top of the key. He wants to drive. What a move! Sam Clancy in a friendly roll.
What you like the most about that, Michelle? The quick first step, hanging in the air, or the soft touch? Pick one.
I liked it all. I liked it all.
Game tied at 7 with 3:15 to go first quarter. Michael Woods' shot does not find the mark, and here come the Eagles with numbers. Logan lays it in.
You don't always need the ball in the middle of the floor to run an effective fast break. That time Latkovic did the nice job. Steve Logan was trailing down the middle.
Long ball shot for Crosby, and Latkovic with a rebound. He outlets, and here come the Eagles again. Cross-court pass to Logan. He's got an open look at the 3. Got it.
He had a chance to get his feet set. You would always prefer that, right? Or some people like to shoot on the move, though, don't they?
Well, it depends. You know, he was totally alone. Great shot.
A lot of maturity not to try to move a little closer, to have confidence in his shot to take the 3.
Benedictine down 5. They look inside. Crosby. Latkovic with another rebound. And ahead to Clancy. He wants to throw it down, and he's fouled underneath the basket.
Another great dimension to Sam Clancy's game is his footwork. Can you practice footwork? Do you actually practice footwork drills as a pro?
Yes, I do. It's very important.
Now, look at him. There's a pivot on the right foot. Oh, a little shuffle of the right foot. But it's not a travel if the ref doesn't call it. He'll move his right foot. There's the travel, uncalled, but good footwork nonetheless.
The foul is on Jermaine Crosby. It's his first. And that's going to get him out of the ball game right here. And in to replace him is number 52, Rashad Hagler.
You saw Sam Clancy talking considerable to his teammates from the free throw line. When you have a team that starts 5 seniors, they know each other and they know their jobs so well that sometimes a coach can simply let them go and let them play.
Curtis Matthews also in the game for Benedictine as Clancy only hits one of the 2, and it's a 13-7 Eagle lead.
Early on, Matt, it looks as though St. Edwards is a step quicker to the loose balls and a step quicker on defense. Benedictine playing a little more hesitant than are the Green Eagles.
Novak shot rejected and a loose ball scrum. Foul is called.
You know, we talked about the confidence of Steve Logan a second ago. You could see Dave Novak, who pump faked when he had a clear jump shot from the outside, took it to the key and got it sent back at him.
Benedictine on the inbound. Blocked by Clancy. Hagler's shot rejected. Benedictine gets it right back. Curtis Matthews couldn't get it to drop. Clancy rips down a board, and here come the Eagles.
Sam Clancy grabs about 11 rebounds a game, and he's going to be up to that number before halftime.
Mike Newman lost the handle on the fast break, but the Bengals turn it right back over, so the Eagles will get another shot to extend their lead.
Michelle, how long does it take you to learn not to be afraid to have your shot blocked when you're developing as a player?
It takes a while. It takes a while.
Do you ever get a long memory at times, or sometimes a short memory? You got to have a short memory, huh?
Clancy, top of the key. Latkovic. Steve Logan penetrating. Oh, and a great dish to Newman, who throws it down.
Again, the jump stop draws the defense, and the dish off the stop. And Mike Newman sends a message that not only is it 2 points, but he's but a sophomore.
The 6'3" sophomore has some ups.
And there'll be 2 more years of that if you don't watch out.
The Eagles pressure D now. Good move there by number 24, Curtis Matthews. Cuts it to a 15-9 Eagle lead. Under a minute to play here in the first quarter.
Good use of left hand by Matthews that time. Good spread. Check the spread. Weave it out front, perhaps.
Latkovic at the controls right now.
This is how the Globetrotters started. When you've got a team that doesn't have a lot of depth, sometimes you'll use opportunities. They're playing for one shot here, but in addition, they get a chance to catch their breath.
Logan, little spin move, takes it himself. Clancy with a throwdown. And that gets the joint jumping. Time runs out in quarter number 1, and the Eagles finish with a flurry. They lead it 17-9. Back with quarter number 2 after this.
Sometimes you can say nothing and have it tell a whole lot. There you see Mike Newman off the baseline, 2 hands over the top of the Benedictine defense. And Sam Clancy punctuates the finish of the first quarter with a follow-up with his left hand, in which he had to have Michelle Edwards of the Cleveland Rockers look like elbow to the rim to me.
That was a big-time move. Big-time move. Big time.
St. Ed's leads at 17-9 after quarter number 1.
And thanks to our sub-stat man, Patrick Pearson, we are finding out that St. Ed's has 5 fast break points. There are none for Benedictine.
Here is Steve Logan now with the ball, bringing it up for the Eagles. Logan with 5 points tonight in the first quarter. He finds Clancy. Inside look to Miles, but he pushed off.
Execution was good, except for the push-off by Jaquan Miles. They went to Clancy at the high post. The drop down to Miles was there and might have even been there in the event, but the whistle was blown.
Chris Lianza brings the ball forward for Benedictine. Michael Woods on the wing. Back to Lianza. Got Clancy in the air, but unable to pull the trigger. Inside to Wilson. The big man spins and has an easy juke.
Talk about the footwork. The drop step is there for Albert Wilson. He's shown us from the outside. He's shown us mid-range. Now he shows us on the low right box.
Logan. And they work it around inside to Clancy. Look out, Loretta!
There is a man in the NBA named Harvey Pollack who counts dunks. I find that there are two, and Sam Clancy, the father,
he's more fired up than Sam Jr.
You can tell from the biceps. But I got to tell you, Michelle, you're young. You're a little young for Sam Clancy, the father. But at Pitt, in the early years of the Big East, he was the leading rebounder. He could clean the glass. Ended up playing in the NFL for 10 years.
Wow.
Albert Wilson has the ball out top for Benedictine. Over to Lianza. 19-11. Bengals lead it. Great baseline move, but he couldn't get it to fall. Great determination on the part of the Bengals, but they misfire, and there's a nice putback. Michael Woods found his way in there.
Impressive on that play, because the only way he could get it to the glass was to go with a short jumper instead of try to hit the board, and he had the right shot for the right time.
19-13 in favor of the Eagles. Lepore walked with the basketball.
Balance is very important to the game, isn't it, Michelle?
Balance as well as control, yes.
Neither of which Mr. Lepore had on that play.
No, we didn't.
Albert Wilson inbounds to Lianza for Benedictine. They trail by 6, 6:10 to go, first half. Glad you're with us on the VIZ High School Basketball Game of the Week. Matt Underwood with Bill Needle and our special guest, Michelle Edwards from the WNBA Cleveland Rockers. Bengals can't get it to drop. Here come the Eagles quickly. Lepore rips it.
He had been quiet to this point, but a good look at the form on Steve Lepore's jumper, and you know that he can fill it because it's a good-looking shot.
The three-point shot gives him a 22-13 lead. Wilson over to Kaiser, and this is Lianza. Backs up, shoots it. Clancy rips down the board, and here come the Eagles again. Jaquan Miles on the save, inside to Clancy. Sets, fires. Oh, baby.
Sam Clancy has shown us just about everything a basketball player can do. 4 for 4 from the floor, 2 for 4 from the line. That's 10 points in my book, and look at your book, Matt. It's 10 in yours as well.
The first man to double figures, and you're right. He showed every aspect of his game. Rebounding, block shots.
Defense right there.
Dunking, jump shots. He's done it all in the early going. Passing, well, not quite on the passing yet, but hey, not everybody can be perfect. Lianza the other way. Gets it.
Michelle just talked about control. How about that acceleration? It seemed like he had extra jet when he needed to have it.
Great example of control as well as being able to finish.
Lepore on the wing to Miles. Pete Latkovic goes to Clancy. Don't give him that first step. Oh, he almost got that to drop somehow.
Defensive breakdown on the part of Benedictine. The Bengals, the defender of Clancy couldn't find him. He was able to catch the ball, and he's clean. He's clean until he gets to the paint, at which point you got to get help from Kaiser. Defensive breakdown. Look how wide open he is. Somebody's sleeping, and you can be sure Frank Novak has sent a wake-up call.
16 foul on Benedictine. You see Rashad Hagler in the lineup for the Bengals as Clancy drills the free throw, giving him 11 on the night here in the first half.
See, Frank Novak's old-time coach. He knows that the only thing that matters is playing time. And when a young man makes a mistake, he disciplines him with a lack of playing time. One of Benedictine's all-time greats, an outstanding baseball player at Cleveland State University, and Benedictine's all-time winningest basketball coach is Frank Novak.
See how Benedictine changed their strategy, perhaps. Clancy gets a breather, and in the lineup for him is Tim Smith, a 6'5 senior. see him there, number 24, quickly called for the foul. So they attacked him right away. The new guys in the game go right at him.
And you get a good idea about the maturity of Chris Lianza's game, although he's a junior. If he shoots the ball right-handed, it's simply a bad shot. But Michelle, take a look at the left that he uses to draw the contact and get to the line for two. Good score, gets to the line.
Great switch of hands.
Lianza knocks down the free throw. Gives him 6 points tonight to lead the Bengals.
We are told by the Benedictine people that if there's anybody shooting baskets at 6:30 in the morning here at the Truman Fieldhouse, it's likely to be Chris Lianza, who gets in his hour of shooting before classes even start.
It's a 9-point lead for St. Edward. 4:10 to go in the first half here. And the Eagles have the ball as Steve Logan crosses the timeline.
See, the half-court offense of St. Edward, as talented as they are, they like the half-court game.
Jaquan Miles finds Logan, and he had all kind of trouble the minute he left the floor. And the home crowd doesn't like that call. It's a foul on Lianza, his first.
Only his first, and we have about 4 minutes to play in the second quarter. The gamble of Frank Novak so far working out. Logan's maturity, leans in, makes sure the contact is with the torso.
Logan drills the free throw, giving him 6 points. That makes it 7, and he and Lianza both have 7 now. The counterparts who are guarding each other throughout this ball game. 28-17, the Eagles by 11. Lianza. That's Kaiser, a little too strong. Rebound, Crosby lost it. Here comes Logan. He's in no hurry. It's Vlatkovic. Now Logan. Behind the back move, spin move. Get him up in the air, shoot it. And a rebound there by Hagler. Crosby. Foul.
It's good to see Crosby with the ball in his hands because you got to make sure you get the touches. Michelle, do you make a conscious effort to make sure that everybody gets their touches so you don't find somebody who needs to take a big shot when they haven't had the ball in their hands?
Yes, that's very important, and I do try to do that. Yes.
Jaquan Miles whistled for the foul, his second.
That's a good look at Sam Clancy. How do you keep track? Is there like an internal accounting page where you know who's had it, who hasn't had it?
It's a subconscious thing, yes.
Crosby spots it, shoots it.
Frank Novak talked a little earlier with us tonight, Matt, about how many letters that Jermaine Crosby gets. I remember getting a letter once that said, "You owe us. You owe us $20 for your application fee. Where is it?" I got a letter from a college one time. It says, "Send me money."
Jermaine Crosby is a very coachable player. Novak says he's an absolute dream to work with. He hits the second of the free throws there.
Good look at Eric Flannery, a St. Edward graduate, a Cleveland State graduate, and a member of a district championship team while a member of the Eagles himself.
And he's really been a part of this coaching staff since the day he left high school. Even though while he was attending CSU, he was a part of the coaching staff, and he's really worked his way up through the ranks. Even as young as he is, he's got a lot of experience. Clancy drops down another one. He's got 14 in the first half, and it's a 30-18 lead for St. Ed.
You know, Michelle, I don't know if Sam Clancy learned to get the ball high up off the board soft because his daddy was playing with him in the driveway, but he's got that ability. I've seen him do it for the last 3 years. High on the glass.
Here comes Clancy. Oh, and a big-time collision under the basket with Albert Wilson. Wilson wasn't going to let him dunk, and he did a good job defending the hoop.
Get a good look at it. If it weren't Albert Wilson's third foul, to me it would have been worth it. To let the big fella who had showed you the dunks twice before, let him know he can't bring that in here. Unfortunately, the timing is not good. It's foul number 3.
And into the lineup now is number 40, Jermaine Crosby, as Wilson takes a seat.
Pretty short rest for Crosby. Michelle, how long does it take you to get your rest? When they take you out, how soon before you're ready to go?
I'd say maybe about 2 minutes or so.
Clancy with 15 now in the first half. He's headed for a big night. Drops the second one in, give him 16 in the first half. Here's Lianza. His team facing an uphill struggle at this point with 2:28 to go in the first half. Kaiser to Crosby. Chris Lianza resets the offense. No panic in these Bengals.
A lot of them played for a state championship last year. They had a 3-point victory over Akron Buchtel, a team that Benedictine lost to last Saturday night by 2 here at Benedictine at Truman.
And there is a foul called on number 25, Chris Burrell, and that's going to be his second foul.
Take a look at Curtis Matthews. Take on Burrell. Foul comes a little quick. Only one dribble for Matthews. Burrell might have run to a spot, tried to beat him to a spot. Instead, he's penalized by the body.
There's a good look at Curtis Matthews as he spots and shoots. 3 points for the junior guard off the bench.
Matt, these teams met earlier in the season. St. Edwards won 48-34. And this game looks as though St. Edwards is going to have a whole lot more than 48 points, probably much to the dismay of the Bengals of Frank Novak.
Well, he knew coming into this game that it was going to be a real tough task. The Eagles are just so strong. Clancy gets the bucket and the foul. He is a man possessed tonight.
It comes from the weak side. Tell us what happens, Michelle.
Sees the pass and makes a shot, and it was a great play.
Came off the weak side, a little bit late for you to pick the whole thing up. We'll get a look at it again. Completely free off the back door. A back cut from Sam Clancy. 2 plus a free throw.
His first and second, team 9.
19 points for Sam Clancy in the first half, and it's a 15-point lead for the Eagles. Good look by Lianza. Looked off the defender like a quarterback and then shot it right down their eye.
And that was in the face of a double team as well, because both Logan and Clancy went to Lianza and let Crosby step back all by himself off the pick.
That's a big bucket if they can get a couple of defensive stops before the half. Keep themselves within striking distance. Clancy looks over. Burrell. Good look inside and a great finish.
Interior passing from Burrell to Wayne. When you can pass inside like that.
Keith Wayne gets the finish there, and it's 37-23 St. Ed.
4th assist for Chris Barilli. That's a very difficult thing to do in a high school game, is pick up 4 assists for a whole game, much less one half.
40 seconds to go, and the Eagles just might let the clock burn here with a big lead. They're up 14 are the Eagles, and you see the time remaining on the screen. Burrell.
You know, a lot of people are unaware how difficult it is to actually work the ball down for a last shot. This is Benedictine's trying to get the ball away from St. Ed's, and the execution is so good that Ed's is able to run that clock to Latkovic.
Under 10 seconds now. Latkovic in the corner, open shot, nails it. That's a 3. Latkovic nails the 3 just before the half ends, and the Eagles, in a flurry once again, finish with a 40-23 lead at the break. Bill, Michelle, and I are back with the second half after this.
This broadcast of WVIZ's High School Basketball Game of the Week is made possible by the East Ohio Gas Company. The employees of East Ohio Gas are your neighbors and your friends who look out for your comfort and safety every day, 24 hours a day. We're committed to your family. We're committed to your community. We're East Ohio Gas, the Sunshine People, a CNG company. By the Ohio Lottery. The Ohio Lottery reminds you that to improve your odds in life, you need a good education. That's why the lottery is proud to support these Ohio high school athletic programs. And by Cavaliers Charities, a fund of the Robert R. McCormick Tribune Foundation, proud supporters of high school basketball in Northeast Ohio.
Welcome back to Benedictine High School, the Truman Memorial Fieldhouse. I'm Matt Underwood with Bill Needle and Michelle Edwards of the Cleveland Rockers of the WNBA. And on the strength of a big second quarter, St. Edward scoring as many points in the second quarter as Benedictine has in the entire game, and they lead it 40-23. Let's take a look at some of the first half numbers.
When you take a look at the first half stats, the one thing that jumps out is 13 out of 17 for 77%. Michelle, when you know you're playing good defense and your opponent starts throwing in everything, no matter how good your defense is, what do you tell yourself?
Well, it's really frustrating, but at the same time, you just have to hope and pray that in the second half, possibly they won't shoot as great and continue to play hard defense, though.
Here's a look at the first half scoring leaders. Big Sam Clancy with 19 to go along with 4 rebounds. Logan with 7. Latkovic and Lepore with 5. For Benedictine, well, Leanza's reached double figures with 10, but other than that, Wilson and Matthews with 4, and not much else happening.
Albert Wilson has been hampered by 3 fouls, and that has kept him and limited his effectiveness and taken away a terrific inside weapon for Benedictine.
Glad you're with us on this Friday night. Another great high school basketball matchup, but so far it's been St. Edward just too strong for Benedictine. Jaquan Miles inside block by Kaiser, and here come the Bengals starting strong in the second half.
Lepore did a nice job sneaking in front. Looked like he was going to back him on defense, but he snuck it in front into the passing lane. Good defense by Steve Lepore.
Ball knocked away, and it will stay with the Bengals.
And there's the uncommitted Steve Logan. What a prize he is for the team, that the college that eventually signs him.
Every team in America needing a point guard will be knocking at his door. Lepore dishes off. Once again, it's Lepore on the wing.
And a good example of the senior leadership and patience of St. Edward. Till they get a shot, that certainly is makeable. Clancy didn't hit it, though.
Here comes Leanza streaking up the floor, and a blocking foul. Did you get the number of the truck that ran over Steve Logan as he's helped back up to his feet?
I like the way Leanza accelerates. Sometimes if you get on your defender really quick, you'll get that call. Here you go again, Michelle.
Yep. Taking it right to the man, to the defensive man. Great job.
And it's not that Logan couldn't have had position. It's just he didn't have time to have position because Leanza was on him.
Crosby stops, pops, no. Good save, but it goes out of bounds, and it will belong to St. Edward.
Hustle by Michael Woods. For those who remember the great Michael Woods, who played here at Benedictine back in the early to mid-1970s, went on to the University of Cincinnati and then the NFL, this is no relation. This is an entirely different Michael Woods.
Cross-court pass to Logan, and he looks back inside for Clancy. Adjusted his shot, didn't drop. Lepore rejected there by number 40, Jermaine Crosby.
It's not just about jumping high sometimes, Michelle. What about jumping quick?
And timing as well. Very important elements in blocking shots.
Logan controls for the Eagles. No one has scored here in the opening minutes of the third quarter. Logan takes it hard to the hoop and gets it.
There you see an example of why Steve Logan is so coveted. His strength in the air. He took a gentle bump. A lesser player would have fallen off his shot from the contact.
Shot is away, but off the mark for number 34, Jason Kaiser, and a wrestling match under the hoop for the loose ball.
You know, Jason Kaiser probably can't figure out why he's always got these open 15-footers until you realize that St. Ed's is letting him shoot them. Let him shoot the ball.
Turnaround shot that time blocked by Clancy. No foul called. Logan driving, laying off the glass. Nicely done. He's got the first 4 points of the second half. And it's a quick timeout for Frank Novak and the Bengals as they have failed to score in the second half. 44-23 in favor of St. Edward.
Last time down the court, Michelle Edwards of the Rockers, we saw Steve Logan go with his left hand. How long did you work on your own left hand, your own offhand, before you felt comfortable enough to use it in the game, or did you just let it rip?
Well, I think it was an instinct thing. It just happened. I didn't say, well, today I'm going to shoot left-handed shots. It just happens.
I want to take a minute to pass along our condolences on behalf of the entire crew here at WVIZ. Bill, understand you lost your mom, Alice, and again, our deepest sympathies are with you and your family.
Thank you very much.
1, 2, 3.
5:39 to go in quarter number 3, and Benedictine is looking at a big uphill struggle, down 44-23 to the 10th ranked team in the entire nation. St. Edward 11-1 this year. Their only loss to Baltimore Dunbar.
I've been saving it the whole show, Matt. Baltimore Dunbar had 4 #1 NBA draft picks, all playing at the same time.
Wow.
And I know you know him. I know Michelle knows it because she's been nodding her head for the last 10 seconds. I know. Well, let them think about it at home, and next chance we get, we'll rip the names out there for you. Baltimore Dunbar.
Little bonus trivia here on the game of the week.
The poets of Baltimore Dunbar.
Nothing poetic about the way St. Edwards has gone about their business tonight. Just in-your-face hoops. Nice little jump shot there by Michael Woods. He's got 4, and it's the Bengals' first bucket of the third quarter. Meanwhile, Logan back to work to Clancy. Walked with it. No bucket.
But a message was sent nonetheless. With the lead that St. Ed's had, Sam Clancy lets him know, as we look at it again, it's 2 steps all the way. But he also lets him know that this is something you have to be aware of all the time.
Big shot from the corner. Crosby can't get it to fall, and a follow-up shot by Woods again.
Albert Wilson got away with putting his hand on a St. Edward man's shoulder, and he avoided his 4th foul, fortunately.
And Lepore banging with Crosby draws a foul. That's just the 2nd on Crosby.
All right, I'll give you 1 every dead ball. You got any ideas? Baltimore Dunbar, early 1980s, 4 #1 NBA draft picks, as we get a good look there at Steve Lepore driving the baseline. This is Latkovic back to live action.
Air mailed that one. He wanted a foul call, nothing doing. Woods harassed, threw it right back to Lepore, who spins, dishes, Burrill, nothing, but Clancy is there with the follow-up. 21 for Sam.
Well, you can certainly see why Southern Cal is excited to have Sam Clancy, and why Streets and Smith decided he would make a good preseason All-America. The way he's playing tonight, he'll be a postseason All-American as well.
Crosby just having an unbelievable tough time right now. Lepore drew the foul, didn't get the bucket, but he knew he was going to get hammered, and that was all that mattered to him.
There's so much I want to do on this dead ball. Take a shot at those Dunbar poets. All right, it's obviously time to move on as we watch Lepore follow. How about we start with the tiniest little one of them all?
Muggsy Bogues.
You got it. All right, we'll be back with the other 3. You stay with us. Now, Matt talked to Michelle about Crosby having a tough time. What's it like when you know you're getting the shots, they're not dropping? Do you have to force yourself to keep shooting?
Well, it depends. There's times I've done that, but there's times that I've also tried to focus on other aspects of the game.
48-27 now in favor of the Eagles. Get a good look here at a young freshman, Bruce Story, just passed off there, number 12. Just a freshman, but they're very excited about his prospects here at Benedictine. Big spin move and a bucket there for Rashad Hagler. Back the other way, Lepore is off the mark. Hagler
This
gets
is
a
Benedictine's
rebound.
time. This is Benedictine's time. You can feel it in the gym. See what they do. It's their time.
Can they close the gap? That's the question the Benedictine faithful are asking. Here's the freshman, Brew Story.
Just plain Brew. Not Brewster, not Killebrew.
Not Brewski?
Not Brewski, just plain Brew.
Not Strange Brew. Look at the move there by Leanza, knifing through the lane. Didn't get the shot to drop, but he does get a foul.
We have seen some outstanding guards. Eric Flannery as a player at St. Edwards, as you see him, was one. And yet, there's something about Chris Leanza. There's a dimension to his game, Michelle. I think it's on the order of quick bursts, the way he accelerates and changes speeds. He can go from fast to real fast. And I like the way it's going to make him a great Division I college player, his ability to change.
12 for Leanza, but they're still down 17. Oh, Logan with a great crossover and lays it up, but did not get it to fall. And he clutches his wrist immediately, not the shooting wrist, but his left wrist, the one that is taped.
That's 4 on Albert Wilson. And we will see Jermaine Crosby replace Albert Wilson in the event that Benedictine can muster a run. Jermaine Crosby, 3-year varsity player, 3-point student, among the top rebounders in the area. No question he gets 20 letters a day from colleges wanting him to pursue his education at their institution. All right, Michelle, Matt, you got Muggsy Bogues. How about a man, unfortunately, who passed away at a far too early age?
Reggie Lewis.
Reggie Lewis played on that Dunbar team, was a #1 NBA pick. Well, you're halfway home. A lot better than Benedictine at this point.
50-31 in favor of the Eagles. 2:52 to go here in the third quarter. Brew Story dishes. Good D there, and then look out. Here comes Logan. Easy money. 15 now for Logan. Leanza stops. Oh. Good rebound, fought for, and a follow-up shot drops for Jason Kaiser.
Jason Kaiser did a nice job there controlling his tip. He was clean. Good night.
Oh, man. Logan saw it all the way, and Sam Clancy finished with a flush. 54-33 Eagles. Under 2 minutes to go, third quarter. Leanza shoots, no. Here comes Clancy. Will he run the floor? No, he gives it off. Back to Clancy. They wanted a walk, no call. And under the basket, Chris Lepore is fouled on the offensive glass.
You know, Sam Clancy cleared the defensive glass. I'm all set for him to go rack to rack, and he ends up giving the ball up. That's about all he hasn't done tonight, is lead the fast break down the middle. What do you think of Sam Clancy? Michelle, you're a Division I player, a professional player. What about a thought or two on the young man from St. Ed's?
From what I've seen so far, he has all of the tools to make it. He's a great shooter, great penetrator, rebounds well, defense. He has all the tools necessary, in my opinion.
As does Mr. Lepore.
Foul called there on Burrill. 1:33 to go. Pushing call there made by Paul Spicuzza, the Indians trainer.
Very animated in his gestures as well. Here you see the extended arm. There you see Logan on the ground. Logan not set. This is Dave Novak. No relation to Frank, which makes him no relation to Glenn, Frank's brother. There's the man who is the trainer of the American League champion Indians, Paul Spicuzza.
He'll be packing his bags and heading south here in another week or so. Uh-oh. Close the door. I give him an 8 on that one.
You don't see too many reverses in the high school.
My goodness, he has shown his entire game tonight. He left nothing in the locker room.
That's 25 for Sam Clancy.
And I think Dad is having a great time tonight watching son play.
I think Dad has a great time every night watching son play.
He really does. He is so excited to talk about his son. And he's got another one who's coming along who is just as good. Maybe even better if we want to put a little pressure on the young man.
He's going to have to be awful good to be better than Sam.
His time will come. We'll hear more about him in the future. It's Sam's time now, and he is playing well. Look at the Eagles move the ball.
I think Mike Newman has a better vertical than Sam Clancy.
They've taken the game above the rim.
I think the 6'3" Mike Newman has more vertical than the 6'7" Clancy. That's Dave Novak.
Clancy to Logan. Under 15 seconds now in the third quarter. Logan dishing. Nice reverse lay in there. And it's number 34. Keith Wayne with the bucket. Time runs out in the third quarter. A dominating performance by St. Edward. They lead 59-33. Back with the final act after this. Welcome back to the WVIZ High School Basketball Game of the Week. Matt Underwood with Bill Needle and our special guest tonight from the Cleveland Rockers of the WNBA, Michelle Edwards. 2 years ago, Bill, you and I called a game in this very gymnasium in which St. Edward was just physically superior to the Bengals, and unfortunately for Benedictine, it's more of the same tonight.
Well, that was a great team that St. Ed's had. They had Jay Jackson, who could get up with Sam Clancy underneath, and they had Gino Bartolone, who could shoot from the outside like Lepore. All Steve Logan had to do is like go to a smorgasbord. I don't know which one of these treats I'm going to taste.
Of course, Gino Bartolone is continuing his career now at the collegiate level, watching Logan dice his way through the lane.
Yep, Gino Bartolone at Kentucky Wesleyan, where he averages 16 a game as a freshman. Jay Jackson's at Buffalo.
Clancy on the outlet, Logan dishes, but a good defensive job there as the ball is knocked out of the hands of Mike Newman, and it was probably a good thing for the Bengals because he was about to go airborne.
Yeah, it's about the first time all night that Steve Logan got rid of the ball at the wrong time, and that's why it was knocked out of bounds. The thing that impresses the heck out of me with Logan, he knows just when to deliver the ball to the man that he's passing to, and that you cannot teach.
Clancy with another one. He's just been unstoppable around the rim tonight. Loose ball, Michael Woods. Goes out to Lianza. Albert Wilson, he'll shoot the long one and come up short.
Sam Clancy closes in on a double-double. He's got 9 rebounds.
That's a goaltending. I think it was going to go in anyway, but the bucket is good, and it's a 30-point lead for St. Edward.
Which I think it's fitting to get rid of this Baltimore Dunbar because people might just have joined us. You got Muggsy Bogues, you got Reggie Lewis. The last 2 #1 NBA draft picks that played for Dunbar were teammates on a national championship at Georgetown.
David Wingate
is the 3rd.
And Reggie Williams?
And Reggie Williams is the 4th. I have been vanquished. My partners, Michelle Edwards and Matt Underwood, are sending me home.
We had to dig deep for that one, though.
Chris Lianza will shoot 2.
Chris Lianza, for those of you who believe that athletes should be well-rounded individuals, has a 4.2 grade average on a 4-point scale. He's a member of the National Honor Society, and this is why recruiters of the likes of Duke, North Carolina, feel that Chris Lianza can make the grades, not only on the floor, but in the classroom.
And what anyone would love about him is down 28, he's still playing as though the game were hanging in the balance. He is not giving Steve Logan an inch. Out of bounds, ball remains in the possession of the Eagles. Well, the one thing that a tough schedule in basketball does for you is it does prepare you for the tournament. It really doesn't hurt you to play teams that are bigger. St. Edward's a bigger school than Benedictine, and so this, in the eyes of Frank Novak, would hopefully prepare them for the tournament.
Exactly, and that's why you'll see independent schools. Oh, Lianza! Oh my! To finish my thought, nowhere nearly as well as Lianza just finished that court drive. You play independent schedule like St. Ed's and Benedictine, and you get the opportunity. You're not playing in a conference, you get to play the best schools, and you do get ready for tournaments that way, Matt.
As I mentioned a moment ago, Lianza still playing as though the outcome were still up in the air, although it was decided pretty much in the third quarter when the Eagles outscored Benedictine 19-10.
The foul called on Michael Woods, who doesn't quite get up over the top to get the shot off Steve Logan. Michelle, when you go to the basket, do you always try to, do you always go for the goal, or do you know that there's sometimes you're just going to get fouled and you just got to expect to hit and don't worry about your shot? Do you know when this is going to happen?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it depends who's also under the basket waiting for me. But every time I go in to make the shot. Every time.
Oh, so, well then, that changes what I thought, because I figured there were times that, oh, I'm going to get whacked on this one. I may as well get myself ready for the contact. Who cares about the release, you know? But
I don't always make it, but, you know.
I guess that's why you're playing in the pros, too.
Benedictine working the ball inside to Albert Wilson, and he is rejected by Clancy. He'll try it again. Gets a bucket and a foul. So the perseverance of Albert Wilson pays off in the form of a deuce and a chance for a three-point play.
The foul is at 50.
Albert Wilson, both leading scorer and rebounder for Benedictine. 16 points, 12 rebounds tonight, hampered by foul trouble. And it has made a difference. Early on, you're seeing Wilson able to step away from the basket, brought Clancy away. With Albert Wilson out of the game, Sam hasn't had to work that hard on defense.
Well, the Eagles just, you know, it's a great advantage that they have that Logan and Clancy, they've been able to play together for so long. They just have a lot of experience at the varsity level.
I'll tell you another advantage St. Ed's has, and that is that Pete Latkovic could play point guard for any other high school team I have seen in the last 15 to 20 years. And he just happens to be playing with Steve Logan, who can break down a defense as well. When you have interchangeable guards, I mean, you think to the great NBA teams of Dennis Johnson and Danny Ainge, for example. Either one could handle it. And when Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas, either one could handle the ball. Gives you tremendous flexibility, and that's what St. Ed's has with Latkovic and Steve Logan. That's Keith Wayne, yet another experienced AAU player. Plays the AAU ball in the summer.
Hits the free throws. 67-40 in favor of the Eagles. Fourth quarter action. Benedictine on the move. A little dipsy-do move. Came up short. Here they come. Latkovic, will he finish? No. Albert Wilson gets the board to Story.
You may not wonder about it yet, but in a game like this where the lead is 27 and you have a freshman as talented as Bruce Story, to give him the opportunity to play significant minutes against a state championship contender is going to pay off in the tournament and in future years as Bruce Story gets ready to inbound the ball.
Lianza putting on some fancy dribbling moves. Here is Albert Wilson, or rather Kaiser, and the shot is missed. This is Wilson, and he just lays it in there nicely.
Leaves the dunks to Sam Clancy.
Logan, oh, swatted away by Wilson. Lepore, offensive charge called.
Steve Lepore with 8 points on the night, only 1 out of 4 from the floor, but it's what he has the potential to do that makes him such a valuable weapon. We saw him hit a great three-point jumper, his only field goal of the night with perfect textbook form. Steve Lepore, yet another weapon in the arsenal of Eric Flannery and the St. Edward Eagles.
Bengals with the ball, moving it around. Can't get it to drop. Lepore quickly up the floor. All the way, no. Wilson got a rebound and a shove, no call.
I admire Albert Wilson for how hard he's playing in a game this way.
Leanza with another lay-in. He's
Show you
got
the left
18.
hand. Leanza shows you the left hand once again.
And there's a foul called. Hey, fans, want to remind you next Friday night at 11 p.m., right here on WVIZ, it's the City Championship game, the Senate title tilt from Cleveland South High. Bill and I will be along with that game, and we've done that now for the past couple of years, and it's always a primetime shootout.
And there is a chance, and with all due respect to all of the other great high schools in the city of Cleveland, there is a chance there may be a return to glory for the Golden Scarabs of East Tech, who are state-ranked Division I, at the very same time that there will be a tribute to the late John Brodsky, who led them to the first state championships ever for Cleveland high schools in 1958 and 1959. So it could be a very momentous weekend for the city championship game.
And the amazing thing about their first state championship game is that it was won in what was then sudden death overtime. They jumped center and the first hoop won. And the other team, I'm trying to remember the team they played in that state title
Columbus
game.
North.
They got the first shot. It didn't go. And then Gerald Warfield,
you are correct,
hit the game winner for the Golden Scarabs and sent them to really immortality, Bill, because when you win the first one, you're sort of cemented your place in history there.
So it'll be the city championship game next week from South High School. We invite you to join us. We talked about Tech, but it could be a number of schools as they get ready to get close.
Meanwhile, Bengals continue to work the ball around. Inside, Jason Kaiser hits the turnaround jumper.
I'm glad Kaiser hit that shot. Give me an opportunity to say that very rarely will a coach give a kid a basketball and say, son, I want you to go home and shoot 500 shots a day. But that's what Frank Novak's going to do with Jason Kaiser.
Steve Logan drives through and lays it right in.
Kaiser is but a junior with better shooting. He can play at another level when his days at Benedictine are done.
Clancy, look at him go behind the back, and then he finally lost the handle. Here comes Leanza, shooting on the run, and a foul call. And it's time now for Eric Flannery to empty the bench with 1:49 to go.
Once we indicate to you that entering the game are Michael Woods, Rashad Hagler, and the young man in the green, number 31, is a freshman, Jawad Williams for St. Edwards. Perhaps the name Nashima Hillman rings the bell. He is the brother of Vanderbilt's Nashima Hillman, is Rashad Williams, and the son of Gail, who's a former player at Cleveland State. 9th grader, 6'6". Mom played varsity, sister played varsity. One was, no doubt, we will be hearing the name Jawad Williams for years to come.
Nashima Hillman and Vanderbilt recently squaring off against Samika Randall and Trinity, the former teammates, and boy, Samika and company just continue to tear it up.
I have so many questions about women's basketball I want to ask Michelle. We have a responsibility to the game here, but let me just do one as long as there is a 22-point lead, Michelle. And that is with Shamika Holtzclaw and with Samika Randall, and I know we're prejudiced because she's from Cleveland, but will there be eventually women coming out of school early to go after the pros?
That's a great question, and that is actually being raised right now. I think there's a young lady taking one of the leagues to court because of a employment discriminatory type thing going on. But possibly, it's a good possibility.
Ever think there'll be a bidding war with the ABL and the WNBA?
I believe so.
Over Shaniqua.
You know, I think that will eventually happen once she decides to come out. There's rumors that she's going to probably come out early as well, so we'll see very soon.
Bill, I thought Samika Randall should have left high school early and gone right to Tennessee.
Hey, Matt, if I live to be 100, there are things in my basketball experience that I'll never forget. I was in Reunion Arena when Spud Webb won the dunk in 1986, and I was doing the game at St. John when Samika was a freshman. They were playing Pickerington, #1 team in the nation. Samika is a 13-year-old ninth grader. She came down the middle of the floor. We went behind her back, threw a between-the-leg cross-court bounce pass to Nashima on the other side. I thought they were going to tear the gym down, and she was in ninth grade.
Wow. Great talent, great local talent, great talent.
Under a minute to go now.
That's Bruce Story, who was fouled on the way to the goal by Sarek Austin. And we'll get a look at a young man, ninth grader, who will probably be playing 2 games a year against the previously mentioned Jawad Williams. Wow, well into the next century, Matt. They'll be playing into the 2000s, these two.
Well, the one thing that Frank Novak said that winning the state championship did for his program is it really solidified it. And it's going to help him to be able to get kids to come out for the basketball program, to want to be involved in the program. Everyone knew for years about Benedictine and the football team. Now they know it as a basketball school as well.
And last year they just happened to win the
a track school too.
Track championship.
They ran the table.
First time in the history of Ohio high school sports that one school won 3 in baseball, in track, basketball, and football, and only 5 times in the nation ever.
Quite a year for the Bengals last season. Look at Leanza still playing hard, driving to the hoop and scoring.
Hey, Matt, if I got winners, I want Leanza. You can have Clancy, I'll take Leanza. We'll divide them up. That's 26 and a quiet 26. You know why? From the line, Leanza is perfect, 11 of 11.
Waning moments of the ball game. The St. Ed's Eagles are going to go to 12-1. As a foul is called with 7.7 to go. The Benedictine Bengals will fall to 10-5. Frank Novak with 180 career wins, closing in on the 200 mark.
A good look at Bruce Story hanging in the air, anticipating the contact. Do you ever do that?
Yes, I do all the time.
You can make a layup. I can get my 2, but Michelle say, why get 2 when you can get 3? Take the hit, hit the layup.
Exactly.
All right, I got to ask you, how many times have you answered the question about your jump shot against the New York Liberty at the buzzer to get the Rockers closer to a playoff spot last spring? How many times?
I've lost count.
Okay.
A lot of times, though.
I know it's on a commercial. I hear it on the radio on a commercial. Might have been, you know, the way the Cavs were last year might have been the most exciting point of Cleveland basketball last year was your shot.
Well, this one was not necessarily a thriller, but it was certainly thrilling to watch St. Edward go to work in this ball game as they defeat the Benedictine Bengals, the defending Division II state champs, 74-58.
And as Frank Novak shakes hands with Eric Flannery and heads off to the Benedictine dressing room to ponder what happens, too much of that man, too much Sam Clancy. He finishes with 27 points, 10 out of 14 from the floor, 7 out of 9 from the line, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, and but 1 foul, and 4 of his 9 field goals were of the throw 'em down on top of you variety.
Southern California, look out. Sam Clancy is coming your way, and he could be a big, pivotal man in the turnaround of the Trojans basketball program.
You know, this is one of the things I love so much about the high school game, Michelle, and that is we saw Sam Clancy, who in June leaves for LA for Southern Cal, but we saw Chris Leanza, and he's back next year. And so you may have Logan go, you may have Clancy go, you may have Lepore go, but I'm coming back next year. I want to see Chris Leanza and see what happens to him as time goes on.
Great players tonight.
Well, Michelle, it was great having you with us, and good luck in the upcoming WNBA season with the Cleveland Rockers. It was certainly an exciting first season, and we're looking for more this summer.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, that's going to wrap things up for the WVIZ High School Basketball Game of the Week. The executive producer of WVIZ Sports is Mark Rosenberger. Tonight's game was produced and directed by Gary Mankey. Special thanks to statisticians Tom Blazak and Patrick Pearson. And, of course, a special thanks to all of our extremely hardworking crew here on the Game of the Week. For Bill Needle, I'm Matt Underwood. Be sure to join us next Friday night for the Senate Championship game, Friday night at 11 o'clock. Have a good week, everyone.
This broadcast of WVIZ's High School Basketball Game of the Week is made possible by the East Ohio Gas Company.
She's in Big Bear. It's the same thing.